I came to West Garfield Park in 1965 to help my brother, who was settling in as pastor of Bethel Lutheran Church. And 3 days after we got here, the first riots took place. And there were 5 riots in the next 4 years, and we like to say it's been a riot ever since. At that moment during the riots, it was very clear to us that to be the church meant we couldn't hide inside our building, but we had to be out there in the community where the action was, where the hurt was. God's given us skills and connections and colleagues and a sense of community, and all of that makes it work and makes it happen. Transforming a neighborhood is a long, slow process. It starts with people first. Transforming lives, bringing families back together, figuring out those support structures that are going to make it happen. We're coming up to some brand new houses that Bethel built. We do focused area development, and this first set of houses are energy efficient homes, single family home ownership, and we guaranteed that the heating bill in Chicago would not exceed $200 a year. Too often the groups are working on just the individuals, and the wonderful thing about the physical pieces is you can see it, you can touch it, it's a statement of hope.
Mary and I were serving on the board of St. Anne's Hospital when a decision was made that the sisters just couldn't continue to maintain the hospital and that it was going to have to be closed. And Mary said to me one day, we've got to figure out a way to be able to make use of this hospital facility and all of these buildings and grounds. And I said, well, yeah, Mary, I agree. And of course, Jesus had to find a way to walk on water, too.
When Bethel bought that project, there was articles in the paper, I still remember them today, saying, what a foolish thing to do, you're never going to be able to make this work, this is never going to happen, and yet Mary managed to pull it off.
I call it the agony and the ecstasy, and we know them both very well in this setting because you try things, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. You go back and try again, and when it works after all that struggle, you got to hoop and holler and praise God.
I've never met anybody as persistent as she is. She can go to Washington, D.C. and walk into a committee room and be facing all those senators and representatives who have got it made up in their mind they're not going to give her a nickel, and she comes back with everything she wanted and more.
We found out that at our transit stop at Lake and Pulaski, 2,500 people a day get on and off. So that's an asset, that's an opportunity, and we then decided to build around that and to do our housing in walking distance of it, and to do the commercial center then at Lake and Pulaski. We're coming upon now the Garfield Park Conservatory that 10 years ago was a very neglected a public treasure, but only 3,000 people a year came because people were scared of this neighborhood.
Mary sees all the possibilities that exist, not only for Bethel, but for the people here on the west side. Mary, I know, identifies the needs, and then she goes about addressing those needs.
It's really important to understand that this biggie of Bethel New Life didn't just happen, that we evolved, starting out with our commitment to community, to building on the strengths and capabilities of a community that many people had written off. And had we known in the beginning what we would be in for, we probably would have been scared out of our wits and not done it. So God opened the door one step at a time and gave us the courage to take that next step.